anybody deny that?
As in, first of all, no one can deny what happens on the ground. That's circulated through the media. The power of social media is being proven right now today.
Well, again, I'm sorry to pause you. I mean, I was asking more about whether or not you'd heard any callers deny. It's because no one's actually denied it. Some have sought to justify it, I think, but no one's denied that what we are most likely to see is epic casualties, with the massive majority of them being suffered by the Palestinian people.
No, you're right. No one has denied the effect, but for some reason, there's always this kind of justification. But that needs to stop, because at the end of the day, the Palestinians have chosen to resist the occupation and the onslaught. At the end of the day, this war has started as a retaliation to what was happening in Jerusalem. But a lot of people are overlooking that and just looking at it. The IDF versus terrorists. But the fact is that Palestinians have decided together that they chose the resistance route. And the resistance route, unfortunately, look at our leaders. You mentioned ministers that were talking about Israel's right to defend itself, but no one's talking about the Palestinians' right to defend themselves.
Well, people are, and again, I don't want to leave it.
No, but no one's saying it from our ministers, from our government. No one is coming out and saying the Palestinians have a right to defend themselves. Instead, we're hearing that Israel has the right to defend itself proportionately. What is proportionately when over the past 73 years the international community has been silent on their violations? So at the end of the day, it's a very deep-rooted issue. And although, yes, I appreciate you want to look at it in hindsight, you want to look at it in a balanced view, both sides, so on, peace, justice. But
you're slightly. I'm very conscious of interrupting too much on this, but I'm like a referee with an incontinent whistle, and this is the one subject where I do have to blow it more than I might want to. But you see, you are no. You and other callers have explained to me why one side is right, or why one side has natural justice on their side, and of course everybody on. Hang on, mate, give me a chance. Yeah? And everybody on the other side would furiously disagree with that, which is why I am trying, with plenty of room for a little bit of improvisation on the edges of the conversation. I am trying to ask what war would look like, not whether or not it would be justified. And oddly, and I think helpfully for those of us with no personal investment in any of these issues, save the obvious, I think helpfully everyone's actually agreed on what would happen. The argument is about whether or not it would be justified.
No, so I've answered your first question.
You have, yes, you have.
Destruction, but with the second one, and when you're talking about whether it be justified.
No, I'm not asking you that. I'm saying we can't go there today.
I think there needs to be representation. I'm a Palestinian,
and you've done it. You've just provided it.
I just one more thing to add.
Very quickly.
The IDF have the capabilities to target their targets very quickly. They have heat seekers, they have heat imaging processes, and they're able to target. Rather than that, they carpet bomb, apartment blocks with families and children. And I think you've mentioned, and I've even saw interviews on Sky News confronting ministers from Israel about the casualties, civilian casualties, and so on. But it's dangerous rhetoric to have people saying that it's because they're targeting terrorists. Because factually, on the ground, we need to talk about facts. Yes, we're just justifying one side, but there is no such thing as balanced sides when it comes to conflict. There's either right or wrong in these situations. And in this context, the media can show it, and the truth says, and it shows that there is disproportionate action.
And that is 11:18, 11:19 nearly, so 3 or 4 minutes late for the news. I hope you feel that. You got your points across.
Yeah.
I hope you feel that. I hope everybody feels that way. But again, the idea that maybe it is the wrong approach to take, but that's the approach I'm taking. Not having an argument about whether or not the carnage predicted by everybody would be justified somehow. And having a conversation in the hope, pathetic hope obviously, but sincere, that there may be something emerging that reduces our fears of this sort of escalation. And speaking about being wrong, thank you to the tweeter who's pointed out that I couldn't have been listening to Eddie yesterday because Tom Swarbrick is standing in for him at the moment. I'll take this opportunity to remind you of the title of my new book, published in paperback today, How Not to Be Wrong. One of the first things you have to do is admit a mistake, and that's what I just did.
This is LBC.
3 more minutes are a minute a bit longer. I'm proud to say we're 100 years stronger. Violating you with some serious hunger. 10,000 pounds, you can start a meeting conga. Teasers is a lies in the website propaganda.
retrieval.co.uk.
Oh, how old?
3 next month.
Such a lovely age.
I know, so full of beans. Only yesterday we were roaming through the countryside, splashing through puddles. Knowing we were covered the moment I left the Audi centre was such a blessing.
Buy an approved used Audi before 31st of May, and you'll get the reassurance of 2 whole years warranty, roadside assistance, key cover, and up to 2 years MOT cover. Timelessly Audi. Search Audi approved used to find out more. Valid until May 31st, 2021 for vehicles from 12 to 96 months old and up to 100,000 miles at point of activation. MOT and key cover are underwritten by UK General Insurance Limited. Visit audi.co.uk.
How much further? Come on. We've nearly done 5K.
5? Feels more like 50. Therefore,
We'll need a medal after this.
pizza ship.
You read my mind.
Cheers though, you two. I could have done it without you.
If you work well in a team, you're already more of a teacher than you think. Get free one-to-one support with our teacher training advisors to get one step closer to the classroom, subject to eligibility. Search Get Into Teaching. Teaching. Every lesson shapes a life.
This is a new announcement by TTP Financial Compensation. Following our success assisting clients of the MI Group and Lincoln Financial Group, we're extending our claims management service to anyone who purchased a freestanding AVC pension following advice from any insurance company or bank between 1988 and 1996. Text TTP to 60075. We can find out if you qualify even if you no longer have the policy or policy details. Don't delay, as time limits may apply. Text TTP to 60075. It is possible to present a claim yourself for free to the firm concerned or through the Financial Ombudsman Service.
What does it take to help a teenage girl living with cervical cancer? Making a nice cuppa, fetching a blanket, giving bone advice, and having a conversation about freezing her eggs in case the treatment leaves her in February. We do whatever it takes to help people living with cancer, but we can only do it with your help. Donate online today at macmillan.org.uk. Macmillan Cancer Support. Whatever it takes.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with James O'Brien.
22 minutes after 11. Can I just show you something? Thank you for holding my hand the last couple of days. I do historically find these conversations so hard to have. First few times I had them, I was accused quite furiously of being anti-Semitic, and that's a very horrible accusation with which to deal. However, I have to say that everybody getting in touch with me to complain about any comparisons being drawn between the current Israeli government and the Nazi regime being anti-Semitic under the sort of official definition of the term, you're doing the opposite of what you think you're doing. I read your text and I think, yeah, damn right, that should be in the official definition of anti-Semitic. So it's quite odd that you think you've got a grievance, you write in with it, and I think, yeah, you are completely and utterly in the wrong, but you can't see it because I've been there many, many times. But just let me play this game with you, and I'm not making light of anything. So I'm going to read you the same text that's come into the studio, and I'm going to read it with 2 or 3 words